Hey, how's it going, everybody? Nah, I wasn't planning on doing a live today, but I decided to go ahead and do one. So here we are. First of all, happy Easter to everybody. Hopefully, you guys are enjoying your day. So I don't expect much people to kind of chime in, only because there should be barbecues going on. There should be egg hunting, you know, um, just kids running amok. Um, hey, Michael, how's it going, man? Happy Easter, man. Happy Easter. Even though, I mean, it depends on where you live. I know here parks are have major restrictions going on right now. So for me and the kids, painting some eggs just for fun, and cooking them a dinner, um, and then I'm gonna watch a movie with them. We're staying indoors. We're not going out. So that is the plan today. Um, so yeah, smartphone enthusiasts is basically what we'll be talking about today. First world problems for them, and also some scammer information. So those are some of the things that we'll be talking about. Hopefully, you guys enjoyed the broadcast. If you're part of the replay crew, hashtag replay. So I know you guys tuned in later on. I'll be up here for everybody else, and yeah. So scammers, right? Everybody hates scammers. Everybody hates those robocalls. And I talk a lot about this because I do want people to be informed on what types of scams there are out there. As a matter of fact, most recently, I came across a YouTube channel called Trilogy Media, and I love the work that they do. Their work is fantastic. I'm so proud of the stuff that they do. And they linked up with another YouTuber who goes by the name of Scammer Payback, I believe is his channel. He does the same thing as Kip Boga. He uses voice filters and he baits scammers on phone calls. He linked up with Trilogy Media so they can go after scammer mules. So I'm going to kind of break that down today in the live stream for a lot of people to kind of be aware of, because our economy is starting to come back up a little bit, little by little. And I feel like that, these scammers are going to be working on overdrive to try and scam people out of money. People that are getting their stimulus checks, those types of things. Like, I don't want people to, get their money taken from them, So there are various types of scamming that's going on. One of the most prevalent ones that people can really think of are the IRS scammers and the Microsoft refund department. Mario, what's going on, man? What's up, man? Happy Easter to you. What kind of smartwatch are you wearing? Do you think the Pixel will ever have a smartwatch? I don't know if Google's ever going to release a smartwatch. I don't know. There's not really a demand for it. The watch that I have is the Moto 360, but it's the original one. I actually had to swap out my band onto this one from the other one that I have, because I have two of them, but the back sensor on the back of my original one cracked, so it doesn't stay on very long. So I switched it out and started using this one. Like I said, some of my families are having a barbecue, but I am scared to join in the large crowd. Don't be afraid, Michael. Don't live in fear, man. That's what I'm going to tell you. That's my advice to you. You don't have to take it, but my advice to you is don't live in fear. You know what I mean? You don't live in fear for the flu, and you don't live in fear for other things that could be potential. I mean, if you drive a car, you could be in a 9-car pile-up accident. You know what I mean? Like, don't hold your life. After recent news, yeah, man, you gotta get off that media bandwagon. Yeah, there's always different types of variations of it, man. Apparently, there's been mutations since last year, dude. I'm gonna be straight out with you. I'm not gonna live my life in fear. You know what I mean? I'm gonna live my life safely. I'm not gonna live my life in fear. You know what I mean? If you know people that, like your family members, and you know that they don't have it, then what's the holdup? I mean, I can understand you not wanting to go to a barbecue full of a bunch of people that invited a bunch of friends and stuff like that, and you don't know. But I mean, as long as you're Mask up if you think the masks work. Carry sanitizer with you. Sanitize your hands. Don't touch your eyes or your nose, throughout the day, no matter what. If it itches, just like crinkle it against your mask, scratch it. You know what I mean? You can do a lot of things to kind of avoid it. You don't have to live your life in seclusion. But anyways, let me get back to the scammer subject. You know what I mean? So yeah, the two main known ones happens to be the Microsoft refund and the IRS ones. But there are other types of scams that's happening out there. There's romance scams. If you guys are not aware with that, I'm pretty sure people are. Kind of like catfishing, but initially going after your money. There's romance scams, that is one of them. And these things are elaborate. The things that they do. Like, I've been watching hours and hours of Trilogy Media, and I was shocked to see exactly how all this stuff works. I am only on my first shot. The vaccine doesn't really prevent you from getting it, right? I think the conception of the vaccine is misconstrued to a degree. It's introducing the virus to your body in a very, very small, non-lethal dose of it, so your body can recognize what it is, and your immunity is geared up to fight it. That's really what it is. Same thing with a flu shot. The flu shot doesn't prevent anybody from getting the flu, but it like your immune system is like a bloodhound, and so if you train your immune system to fight a specific virus, right? When that virus first enters your body, your immune system's already on high alert to go after it and kill it before it starts to incubate and spread. So either way, when you get the vaccine, you still can get it. But anyways, so watching these guys on Trilogy Media, it's amazing what they do. It's amazing how they bait a scammer. They send packages all over the country per the scammer's request to tuck money in a box wrapped in aluminum foil and ship it. And they trace these boxes because it is their box that they send. And these guys go and they confront what they call scammer mules. These are people who receive these boxes, whether it has the gift cards in them or it has actual cash inside of them, and they try to track down where it goes to. Really good stuff. I think one of my most memorable moments of Trilogy Media's videos was they tracked a box that they thought was going to a mule, ended up going to a victim, an elderly woman named Susan, who has been taken for a ride on the scam for 2 years. They scammed her out of $30,000. And then she was talking to a guy who she believed to be a technician for the internet company called Kaspersky that she was using. And she was constantly getting envelopes or boxes with checks. And then she was, cashing those checks and then putting those checks into gift cards and then giving it to this guy named John Kudo. And she was doing it for 2 years. 2 years in hopes that she was going to get a check for $30,000 returned to her, because that's what the guy that she was talking to was making her believe, that she was going to get the money back. So these guys from Trilogy Media were able to track a package that went to her address. They found out that she was a victim and not a mule, but she was technically a mule without really knowing. And they let her know everything about this guy named John Kudo. He doesn't work with the internet company Kaspersky, and she was in hopes that she was going to get her $30,000 back. And it was a heartbreaking video. It was a tearjerker for me. Even I felt like crying watching and listening, to them, talk to her and everything like that. It was sad. So when she finally, understood that her $30,000 was gone, she was never going to see it again, and that she was unwillingly participating in continuing this scammer's scam to scam people out of their money, The guys from Scammer Payback and Trilogy Media, they made a GoFundMe, and the GoFundMe was successful because they put the goal of $30,000, and it reached over $30,000. And I watched their next. It wasn't an immediate follow up video, but it was a video later on down the road, and they went back to Susan's house to present her with the GoFundMe credentials so she can log in and claim the money and get it back. And it was good to see that happen, you know what I mean? But that's very few people who have been a victim of scams ever get their money back. And you know, it was these guys from Trilogy Media, you know, who do this on YouTube that made that possible for Susan. And you know, it was great to see. You know, they got well over the amount. So the goal was 30,000. I think it ended with the donation amount of $32,000 plus dollars. So, you know, when she deposited into her account, because of course GoFundMe takes their fees, she got like $31,600 plus dollars put into her account. She got her money back. And it was thanks to everybody around the world who listened to her story and felt bad and donated to the GoFundMe. And it was a beautiful story. What's up, Mike? How's it going, man? Happy Easter to you too, bro. It was a very beautiful story. And so like it inspired me. You know, I'm not gonna go track down scammers and try to do any of that stuff. I'm not that, you know, that skilled. But definitely something that people need to be aware of are the different types of scams. Bro, I'm really going to do the music demo next week. All right, bro. That sounds good. Yeah, it's crazy because there's scams that happen all the time, different types. I mean, we know the main ones that are like robocalls that calls us and threatens us and all this other stuff, and we call back and we, you know, engage in conversation with a scammer and their weird name, you know, with their weird accent. But there's other ones too. I mean, there's scammers on like a chat site called AirG, which is I wouldn't recommend anybody go in there just because the people that tend to go on that chat service are like, so at least some of the ones that I've seen are like in their 30s or close to 40, but they act like they're 15. So it's not a really good place to like, you know, have like a mature conversation. But it, you know, it's fun for people to just go in there and just have fun and play around. But there are people that is on that chat site that, you know, contact you through personal messaging, you know, direct messaging on their DMs, and you know, it happens all the time, and like it's the same shit all the time, whether it's on AirG or if it's on like any other like chat, like even Tinder or any of those places. You know, they want to take the conversation to Hangouts, and they want to text or anything like that. A story that I read on Reddit with a guy who fell victim to what's called a romance scam. You know, he was baited by a person that he believed to be a real, you know, like a real person interested in him. And, you know, he's, you know, because not every guy can go out there and find women like that. You know, I mean, you know, some guys just, you know, their confidence is so low, so they don't even approach women to talk to them. Happy Easter, everybody. What's up? Hey, Gene, what's going on, man? And so, you know, they look for love on things like the internet. Exactly, Mike. You know, catfishing, and but this is like far worse than what people see on like MTV's Catfish, because like, you know, they're getting money. There's nobody on the other end that's really in love with the person. So this guy shared his story on Reddit because he nearly died. You know, he got taken for a loop for 3 years. 3 years he's been talking to somebody, you know, and the person played it out well, because he was saying, like, at the beginning of the story, he met somebody on a dating site. I think it was Plenty of Fish or something like that, if I remember correctly. And he was chatting with the person, and the first time he gave money to the person was he wanted to talk to the girl on the phone, but she told him that her phone was broken and everything like that. If he, you know, she really wants to talk to him too, if he could help her out, they could make that happen. So you know, he sent her, I think it was like $250 to get a replacement phone. And so then all of a sudden from there, a woman was calling this guy, and they were conversating like a normal relationship. I mean, she played it off very, very well. I mean, The only thing that he wasn't able to achieve was a video call date, because he was like, he wanted to go on a date with her, but they lived too far away from each other, so he wanted to do a video call date, but she ended up doing a phone call date, and they would talk, and she wasn't. He said that he wouldn't have seen it where it would start to feel suspicious, because she wasn't always constantly asking for money. However, through word manipulation, he was always gifting her things. So like, she would talk about, how she loves a certain type of dress and all this other stuff. And, for a guy who wants to dote on his woman, will offer to buy the dress or offer to send money to buy the dress. You know what I mean? Like, you don't have to ask for money all the time. And so, it went on for years. It went on for years until, I don't know how he explained how it clicked in his head, but he realized, what was going on at this point, and it had been 3 years, and it was just so hard. Even though knowing that he basically got took for a scam, he literally was holding on to hope that this woman was real. And at one point, he tried to take his own life, and he went out into the woods with a gun. He was ready to end it all. And he said that what actually happened was, he had his finger on the trigger. The gun that he had a hairline trigger, so it was very sensitive. And when he was raising it, to place it to his head, he had touched the trigger, and the gun went off, and boom! It hit him in the chest, grazing him. So it didn't penetrate deep enough into the chest, but it went in and went out, and also hit him in the arm, and went through the arm and was there. They had to surgically remove it out of his other arm. He lived. But yeah, that's how close he came to it. And so he shares his story for a lot of guys out there who look for love on these dating sites, to really be careful of the romance scam. And it happens. It truly does. And it happens everywhere. It happens on Snapchat. I had like weird people that don't even know me. Friend requests me on Snapchat, and then they message me, and they're like, do you want to buy this from me? I sell these types of pictures and photos, whatever it may be. Or they'll tell me to the degree like, oh, you're cute, and I didn't even post anything on Snapchat. So I was like, how the hell do you know what I look like? If you're looking at my avatar, I didn't know that a cartoon character version of me would be considered sexy. Like, it's funny as hell. It truly is, how people on Snapchat are. Let me catch up with this. Wow, there's a lot of content I catch up with. FedEx packages. Plenty of Fish. Yeah. I've never been on Plenty of Fish, but I hear a lot about it. My brother Ruben was on Plenty of Fish. That's how he met his girlfriend. Put a box on the front porch. That is the mom. The box opens. Are you talking about the guy with the glitter bomb box? He was doing that to catch people who were stealing packages from people's front porches. He made a glitter bomb that the bomb itself had like a camera and everything, so it recorded. It got video footage, and took a picture of the person who opened the box, so he could submit it to the police and say, hey, this person got a hold of a package that was supposed to be delivered at my place. I think that Scammer Paybacks was doing that. Well, he's one of the people that was doing that.
I said it before and I'll say it again. Life moves pretty fast.
So, spreading cardboard. yeah, the confetti stuff, and the stuff is stuck to them. Like, they can't even get the glitter off of them. Yeah, it's a crazy story. It really is. People can manipulate the hell out of other people to get stuff. Exactly. It is. It's word game and wordplay. That's all it is. You know what I mean? And like for the romance scam, and mostly, those who are hopeless lovers. You know what I mean? So those that they don't have the confidence to go into open environment settings and meet people face to face and engage in conversation. They think less of themselves, so they go on a dating site to find somebody. They lack confidence, so they're not out thinking that someone's out there to hurt them. They're just, in a way, desperate for companionship. And these scammers prey on those types of people, just like the scammers on the phones, from call centers in India. they prey on the elderly because they feel the elderly are gullible. The elderly don't know much about technology, so they can just completely take them for a ride, and they do it. They do it. Through the YouTube channel Trilogy Media. I would suggest you guys check it out, subscribe to them, and watch their stuff. It's really interesting. They've actually were able to pull 3 callers who worked at these scamming call centers in India. Were able to pull them out of the call center and get them back on the right track. So it's not only that they help victims, but there are other like the people that are on the phones that call to scam you. Some of them are not malicious as we think they are. I mean, we're all judgmental and we can have our opinions on it, but they did upload a video where they had one of the callers, who goes by the name Toby, they helped him get out of the call center and to get back home to his family. They bought him a train ticket to go back to his mom's house, and then the guy Toby, who was a scam caller for the call centers, to help out Trilogy Media, without getting caught. Thankfully, he didn't get caught. He secretly recorded what the call centers look like. He made video clips and he sent it to the guys at Trilogy Media so they can see what these call centers look like, what types of computers they're using, all this other stuff, and it looks like a legit call center. And the guy Toby gave his story that Trilogy Media shared. And the guy Toby was talking about it. He was like, he was going to school. He graduated high school. His dad was sick. His dad had asthma and other illnesses. And in India, there's like a loan program that you can go through to get money to help those who are sick. And his mom was constantly pulling out loans, trying to save her husband's life. Eventually, the husband passed away, and the mother ended up in like huge debt. Now, here in the U.S., $5,500 is not considered a huge debt, but in India, that's a huge debt. Gene, thank you so much for the super sticker. Appreciate it, man. Really do. So anyway, so Toby was talking about it, and he was like, he's skilled at repairing computers, so he wanted to work for a computer repair shop, but because of the pandemic, the shops that he worked at, they went out of business. So one of his friends told him that there was a job in the city. You have to move to the city. It's a call center job. It's good money. You get paid like 30,000 rupees a month. And he was like, oh, I can get this job and I can help my mom get out of this debt, pay off her loans and help pay, because, he does live in poverty. Like his situation is, it's bad. So he moved to the city and he goes to this call center for the job. He takes, he gets the interview. And the only question that the person asked him at the interview, he said, was, can you speak and understand English? And he said, yes. So they hired him. And they put him to work right away, and he was, they never told him too much about the job itself. He didn't get a detailed job description, but he got put on a computer. They showed him how to work the phone, like, because they use this, what they call soft phones. So it's like it's on the computer. And then they gave him like a binder with different scripts. And when he took his first call, and he was reading through the scripts, he realized he had just taken a job at a scamming call center, but to survive out there in the city, he needed money. He continued to do it. And, he always had felt guilty. So he shared a story about that. He shared about, how the guys at Trilogy Media were able to connect with him. They ended up trusting Toby. They gave him their YouTube channel link. He started watching their YouTube videos, and he decided that he would help them if they can help him get out of the call center. And they told him, they will. They will put some money together. They will buy him a train ticket from the city that he was in back to the town that he comes from. And he gave him as much information as possible, like the names of the people that were involved in the call center, the higher ups, how they do it. He gave them a lot of information, including pictures of the call center, pictures of the people that are on the top, and he took video clips. And, Toby was in fear of his life that they would have caught him doing that. So, yes, he was risking his life. The guys at Trilogy Media were trying to get him a train ticket to go home. And they finally got him a ticket to go home. He went home. He quit the job, went home. They helped him get his mother out of the debt, so she no longer owes that money anymore that she took out those loans for the medical bills. And Toby went to work as a computer technician. and he lives at home with his mom again. He showed the conditions that he lived in. It's pretty bad. And yeah, so it's not like that every scammer you talk to on the phone has the same backstory like Toby, but these guys at Trilogy Media, they're doing amazing work. They really are, to combat scammers. It's not only just getting on there for fun, joking around and screwing with the scammers, but they're literally tracking down how they do this stuff. I mean, one of the videos that I've seen from them, they literally sent a Chinese guy who basically lived in or lives in Brooklyn, New York. He's here in the U.S. on an L4 visa, and because these scammers already know that people are looking at either those people who come from Africa or those people who come from India to be a part of the scamming ring. They are now utilizing Chinese who come to the U.S. and come here on an L4 visa or whatever visa they have applied for, whether for school, for work, whatever. And they're using them as mules to collect these envelopes, these boxes, and to reroute it so that way the money goes back to either Calcutta or wherever these call center businesses are stationed in India. So it's crazy how deep this goes. And like, they confronted the Chinese dude, and they literally had to use Google Translate for him to understand what he's doing. And like, they set him up in an Airbnb. They use that address for all these boxes to be delivered to, and all that Chinese kid has to do is just call the person who put him in an Airbnb and tell him all these things are here. The guy comes, collects the boxes, leaves. They pay him a couple of $100. They pay for the Airbnb, and they pay for his flight back to Brooklyn, New York. It's a very, very, very stringy length of what these scammers are going to go through to scam and get money. And because it's a very lucrative business for them, they're making millions. You think if they scammed one woman, the woman named Susan, if they scammed her out of $30,000, right? She's just one. Now, let's say they take the same amount from everybody that they scam, and let's say it's 1 million people. 1 million people scammed of $30,000. You do the math. Just how lucrative is the owner of the scamming business making? But he's making money to pay to keep the office space that he has set up as a call center. He's able to pay that monthly rent, the electric, the internet for that. He's able to pay a couple of $100 to mules all across the United States who intercept these boxes and packages and reroutes the funds back to India. It is insane. It is absolutely insane. So for a lot of people out there, even like such as I said, like the story I shared about Susan, even if they claim to be your internet service provider, the advice that I would give is that if it feels too weird, right? Like Cox Internet, they can call me and tell me that I've been hacked and all this other stuff, and they can tell me that they have security, measures, but it's going to cost me this much per month. They're not going to ask me to pay them with Target gift cards, Google Play reward cards. Big red flag when you hear those things, people. Big red flag. No, nothing like that is ever going to ask you to pay in gift cards. But if you're ever unsure of something, always say, okay, I understand what's going on. Let me give you a call back here in a second. Hell, you could be upfront. You could be like, this is a very sensitive information. So for my security, I'm going to go ahead and end this call, and I'm going to call right back in. Of course, they're going to tell you, no. They're not going to want you to hang up, because they know that if they claim to be the Social Security Administration, if you hang up the call with them and you actually call the Social Security Administration office in your city or in your town, of course, it was the guy on the phone that I was talking to wasn't part of their administration. Otherwise, they would know what's going on. The IRS calls nobody. That's a number one red flag. The IRS calls nobody. You get a certified letter in the mail if the IRS has a bone to pick with you. But other than that, they call nobody. There's nobody they're going to call. They don't reach out. I mean, Think about it. When you file your tax return and you're wanting to know when your refund is coming and everything like that, how easy is it for you to get somebody from the IRS on the phone? It's not easy at all, right? Their website refers you to a link that's a hyperlink that says, "Where's my refund?" And that's about the best you're going to get. You're not going to get a rep on the phone that's going to tell you, "Okay, yours is set to come in the next wave of releases, which is on, February 26th." Like, no, they don't like to talk to nobody. They just want your money if you owe them. If they have to pay out to you, they're going to make you wait a little bit. Romance scams. Literally, don't give money to somebody that you meet on Plenty of Fish, Tinder, AirG, whatever other chat site there is out there. Don't do it. Just don't. Conversations and fun and video calling and stuff like that is totally fine. If they claim to be in your local area, they claim to say, "Yeah, we're in your local area. I live in the same city as you do." But then meet up for lunch, meet up for breakfast or something. You know what I mean? I'm gonna start handing out money through someone you met on a dating site just because they gave you attention. Okay? Some of us are too smart for the scammers, and the scammers will be pissed when they figure out the victim outsmarted them and screwed with their heads big time. Yeah, but then there's people who don't, and that's the reason why, I talk about this subject and hopefully get it to get shared around, so those who would fall victim to this type of stuff will listen to what I have to say and gain something out of it to help them so they don't fall victim to it. I mean, we got all these wonderful people like Scammer Revolts and Kit Boga and Scammer Payback and Trilogy Media. We got them, taking the fight to the scammers. But we can do our part by just not falling victim to it. Just not being naive enough to fall for these things they say. Because if everybody was to be knowledgeable in this and will no longer fall victim to this crap, there'd be nobody to scam, and the scams would stop. So, I mean, that's that's a very heavy, serious subject. And hopefully, I mean, if you guys know anybody that would fall victim to it, you can reference my channel, but I would say definitely reference guys like Scammer Paybacks and Kit Boga and Scammer Revolts, so they can hear the conversations that these scammers do on the phone, and then reference them to Trilogy Media so they can learn how these scammers operate. Because Trilogy Media is exposing how they operate here in the U.S. in conjunction with India. They'll learn a lot from it. For me, it's a personal subject because I'd never been scammed, but my mom almost got scammed. A guy talked to my mom on Facebook. He started a relationship with my mom on Facebook. He didn't know that my mom would be able to do things. And so he was supposed to meet her in Las Vegas. My mom took a flight to Vegas and the guy stood her up. So she spent a few days in Vegas by herself and had fun. And one day she reached out to me and she was like, her boyfriend is wealthy and he's going to send my mom these really expensive purses and shoes and dresses. And he gave my mom a tracking number. It showed it going, from various different countries. And then it ended up in, where is that place? I want to say Portugal. It ended up there and it got seized by customs. And apparently that there was some sort of tax that needed to be paid for it to go from Portugal to the United States. And the tax amount was $5,000. And my mom was going to pay that so that way the gift from her boyfriend would come to her. And I told my mom, that doesn't make sense. That makes absolutely no sense. And, first of all, if this guy was that wealthy, then why did he go the cheapest route and having this package routed from one country to another, to another, to another? Instead, overnight it to you. I mean, a guy who's supposed to be a millionaire would be able to send a box full of shoes, purses, and dresses, be able to send it overnight. You know what I mean? Because the guy apparently, he was a elderly guy. He was from Dubai, and he was supposed to be rich and everything like that. His Facebook page seemed very convincing to somebody not knowing. To me, I took one look at his Facebook page and I'm like, I called BS on it right away. But for my mom, she's not tech savvy like me, so it didn't dawn on her. It didn't dawn on her. It didn't dawn on her at all. So I stopped her from paying the 5,000, and then her boyfriend got mad at her, gave her the BS excuse that he wanted her to have the dress and all this other stuff, and does she not love him anymore? And then after like 2 messages of the saying that crap to my mom, he broke up with her. And I told my mom, like, yeah, he was never real in the first place. That 5,000 you were gonna pay for that box to get to you, yes, you would have gotten the box, but that box would have been full of something stupid. And the 5,000 you paid it to would have been probably this person's connect in Portugal who helps scam people on Facebook through romance scams. And ever since that happened to my mom, and I felt bad for my mom because my mom is lonely. My mom's alone. You know what I mean? Not really trying to put too much out there, but after the divorce between my mom and my dad, my mom really didn't land on somebody to be a lifelong partner. My dad did, but my mother didn't. And so she's been alone a lot, been in and out of relationships. But they never went to a point where she had someone to be like by her side. And now that, she's in her 60s, she's still alone. She suffered a stroke 2 years ago. And she's just trying to survive. So for this guy to do that to my mom really pissed me off. You know what I mean? So any information I can share about scammers and how they operate and stuff like that, I'll share it. I remember a few years ago, my friend had the IRS scammer called him, scammed him, and then a few days after, the real IRS had that scammer call center closed. I mean, yeah, you can trace it back if you can, but a lot of them are becoming more sophisticated. They're using like ISP scramblers and stuff like that. Yeah. So anyways, let's switch tracks from scamming to smartphone enthusiasts, because this is where I'm going to be labeled as the a-hole, and people aren't going to like me. But I don't care, because it's getting tiring being a smartphone enthusiast. It really is. I mean, people aren't appreciating smartphones the way that we used to. Everything's always about it's got to have this, that, and the third, or it's not considered good. And it's the same way with just when you want to compare different features. Like, one of the things that made me sad today was looking at Altertech's tweet. Everyone knows him as that OnePlus guy. And he talked about how, it's hard for him to do photography comparisons and stuff like that because people get real sports fan-like, and they'll go after him if he says something bad about a camera on a particular phone because they really like that phone. Like, look, everybody likes what they like. I've said this for the longest time. Use what you would like to use and forget what everybody else has to say on it. I'm the living embodiment of that. I've had Carlos tell me so long that I need to jump on an iPhone, that I need to just, screw Android, go iPhone, and I've never left. He gave me an iPhone XS to use, and I'm using it. And don't get me wrong, I like iOS, but I still prefer Android. People ask me, what's my favorite smartphone? My Pixel 5. That's my favorite smartphone. It's the one I use every day. My Pixel 4 comes underneath that. And then I use an iPhone XS just to be up to date with what iOS offers. But I would never put down my Pixel 5 in favor of an iPhone. That's just not going to happen. And Carlos respects that, But that's what I'm trying to tell people. Like, the smartphone enthusiast game, it's coming to an end. It's becoming ridiculous. It's really stupid. People are going to like what they like. You like LG, rock LG. You like Samsung, rock Samsung. You like Motorola, rock Motorola. Like, who cares? Who cares what other people say? Like what you like. Like, I think we strayed away from how these review videos are perceived. These review videos are to give you an idea of how a phone is going to perform. what shortcuts were made or what long-term investments was put into the phone for longevity. That's what reviews used to stand for. It used to mean, but now it's not like that. Some reviewers think of it like a cult-like following, like you have to hang on every word that they say about a particular phone. You have to like what they like. You have to dislike it. It is like, the circles I travel in, some of the people that I know despise T-Mobile. Others, they talk about the negativity that T-Mobile is doing in hopes that T-Mobile changes their ways and becomes better. And then there's those that I know of that absolutely love T-Mobile. I am not one to be loyal to a particular carrier brand. Like I know T-Mobile's shortcomings and I will tell people what their shortcomings is. But if someone wants to say, well, T-Mobile is the only one that works great in my town, I would never tell them don't get it because they're such a bad company. I'm like, no, you need internet access. You need data access. You need cellular access. If T-Mobile works in your area, then you're going to have to go with it. Nothing wrong with it. There's those that are like a cult-like following for T-Mobile that will like completely bash anyone that brings up any negative thing that T-Mobile does. Nothing in the world is perfect. That's kind of the reason why I kind of given up on being a smartphone enthusiast. I guess, it was pointed out to me that I don't have the same drive and passion when I talk about smartphones the way I used to several years ago. But that's just because the game has changed. Everybody wants to say, do this or do that, or you got to rock with this brand. Even the most dumbest thing in the world is those people who use smartphones to label them in some sort of status in life. A phone don't make you. I don't know why people think that way. A phone don't make you. Oh, you rock an iPhone 12. You could be poor as shit and rock an iPhone 12. That's to be honest with anybody. Like, I don't live in the best neighborhood, right? Like, there's gang activity right outside my front door where I live now. You know what I mean? Those guys don't have a career. They're not doing the best of things. They're doing illegal things, and they're able to rock iPhone 12s. So it doesn't make them on the same level as a CEO of a Fortune 500 company. They're not making 7 figures annually, but they're rocking iPhone 12s. Phones don't have a play on who you are as a person, and I don't know why people are starting to emphasize that. If you don't have a Samsung Galaxy S21, you don't have anything premium. Your definition of premium could be very different from what my definition of premium is. Our perceptions are different. We're not all the same. We don't think the same. I like Pixels, but I know people who will tell me 100 different things why Pixels suck. And it may suck for them, but it doesn't suck for me. When I use my Pixel phone, I don't get frustrated. I don't get angry. I don't look at it and say, gee, golly whiskers, I wish there was something more to this phone than just what it is. I don't. That's literally because I thoroughly enjoy using a Pixel. Now, if someone tells me, why do I like Pixels? I will answer that question gladly. Gladly answer that question. But it doesn't mean that I'm going to say you have to go get a Google Pixel. Now, if you want to try one, I will definitely tell you, try one, see how it goes. I'll try to help find the best option for you to try a Pixel without spending too much money. Now, this whole idea of just like, I got this phone, so it means that my head should be this big of a balloon, is just ridiculous to me. Smartphones don't give you a title in life. It's just technology. It's just hardware you're going to have for right now, and something better is going to come along the way later. Hey, happy Easter, Latrell. What's going on, man? Now, right now, I'm talking about smartphone enthusiasts and how the newer generation of them is just totally changing the dynamics. and how that's just totally becoming a cluster F of things. It really is. You know, I'm hoping that someday in the tech space that reviews are looked at the way that they're supposed to be looked at. They're supposed to be looked at as to giving you an idea of how a phone is going to work and perform, so you can make a good judgment whether to buy that phone or to pass on that phone. Not to look at a reviewer's video and hold it as gospel and say, he liked it, so I'm going to like it, so I have to buy it. It's totally wrong. It's ass backwards. The reviewers that review phones got to remember, you're providing a service to people out there who are willing to click on your video and listen to what you have to say about it. Some, achieve a status on YouTube and their head inflates really big, and then they forget humble beginnings and where they come from, and they expect that people have to hang on everything that they say. I don't expect anybody to take what I say as gospel. They can either agree with me or disagree with me, but at the end of the day, I'm still going to have my opinion. They're still going to have their opinion. There's those people who tell me that pixels suck. I mean, I get it all the time. I'm not going to change that. I'm not going to try and change them either. Now, if they come back to me a year later and they say, hey, Tito, you know what? I tried the Pixel 5 and it actually turned out to be good, so pixels don't suck. Well, hey, they tried it. But I'm not going to go and say they have to try a Pixel before they say it sucks. Like, no. If I blurt it out, I don't actually mean it. For me, the Pixels have been great for me, and it's really hard for me to look anywhere else because I enjoy using my Google Pixels. I enjoy using them. So I don't have an eye to look for anything different. People will tell me, try OnePlus, it's just like a Pixel. It may be just like a Pixel, but I'm not looking to try anything else. I guess this is what smartphone enthusiast retirement sounds like, because I'm not going after it. Plus, too, if you think about it, the smartphone game today has not been innovative, and I don't care if someone wants to jump up and be like, oh, the people who say it's not innovative. It's not. Smartphones have hit the glass ceiling. I mean, the only ones that's really trying to be innovative right now is Samsung with their foldable technology. LG was trying to push the boundaries on that, but LG is going out the door. So the last great innovative phone from LG would be the chicken wing, the LG Wing, which I swear, if I buy one down the road, simply it's just to like look like a Ghostbusters, I'm going to scan ectoplasma on my LG Wing. But other than that, they're all the same form factor, candy bar style, touch display. The only thing that shifts around with these smartphones today to even try to make up for lack of innovation is camera technology. We upped the next model. It's a 12.2 megapixel last year. Now we're at a 16 megapixel. It can shoot with these types of filters. We got ultra wide. We got what's it called? I'm putting the loser mark in my head right now because it's not coming. It's on the tip of my tongue. I want to say it. What is it? But yeah, like they got ultra wide, they got wide angle, telephoto. We got telephoto lens. We got fisheye lens. I mean, that's probably going to be the next thing in smartphones is you're going to have like 5 camera sensors: your regular wide angle camera sensor, your ultra wide, your telephoto, your sensor that can do 1,000 times zoom, and then they're going to probably have like a fisheye. This one sensor back here, the 5th sensor, is a fisheye lens to capture more than ultra wide can do. You're welcome. Hey, Mark Smith, happy Easter to you too as well. Bobby Warren, thanks for popping in. Yeah, it's just, whew. That's the only innovation that we get. The new 5G phones are PR. Yeah, I'm not following these little acronyms. What is PR? But really, but that's what it is. I mean, we don't have innovation in smartphone technology like we used to. They've hit that glass ceiling. So there's not really anything out there that I'm really interested in. I mean, I know in like the next week or two, I'll have the Skull Candy Dimes. Because I have the Skull Candy Indie, the Indie Evos, and then I have the Skull Candy Setch Evos, right? Those are like $50 or more. These JVC Gummy Wireless, they were $30, and they're really good sounding for $30. But Skull Candy has the Gummy Wireless possibly beaten, which is what I'm going to be grabbing sometime in the next 2 weeks, is the Skull Candy Dimes. Apparently, they're supposed to have really great sound quality out of these wireless earbuds, and it costs $24.99 at Best Buy. But my Best Buy doesn't have them. But once they have them, I'm going to pick them up. And that's been my interest lately, is like wireless earbuds. Haven't bought any new ones to review, but eventually I'm going to get those Skull Candy Dimes, and then I'm going to be doing a review on them. Literally. These new 5G smartphones are priced so high. Eventually, that's going to go down. See, this is the reason why I tell people you don't have to rush to get a 5G phone. Like, if you can afford it, that's great. If you can spend that kind of money, then go for it. Enjoy the early adaptation of 5G. But 5G is not at its full capacity. It's not rolled out nationwide like LTE is. It's not detrimental to your mobile experience if you don't have 5G access right now. I mean, I have Metro by T-Mobile. I have 5G connection on my Pixel 5, but the speeds that I get is very similar to LTE speeds. So what am I really missing? Nothing. You know what I mean? You can find some 5G phones that are affordable. Was it like the Samsung Galaxy A52? I think it's the A52, right? Or the A51? I mean, that's it. That's in the mid-range, affordable range. But there will be more. There will be more mid-range and budget 5G options down the road. We don't have budget 5G options right now. When I mean budget options, I mean sub $150. There's rarely any right now that's available. But it will be maybe 2 years from now, maybe next year, we might start seeing that as the trend. It already went down. But yeah, there's some that's priced at that. Yeah, today is Easter. Of course, our state still has some restrictions as far as using the park and the hibachi grills and the groups of people that could be at a park. Like, why are you going to limitations of the groups of people that could be at a park in an open space with wind blowing? I can understand if they're like clubs are closed. You can't go clubbing tonight dressed as a bunny for Easter Sunday because you're in a compact environment that has no air circulation. But an outside public park, I'll never get why to do these things. And really, I don't care to, because I'm just going to give myself a migraine thinking about it. The idiocy of that. But anyways, so I have literally lost faith in the tech space here on YouTube. I really have. For the way that they're pushing things to be. We're YouTubers. We provide a service, and for those people who actually take the time to watch our videos, that's where the appreciation comes in. Because yes, those that are partners on YouTube, we're monetized and we make money on our videos. You know, but I would never have my head inflate to that point where I feel like that people have to take my word and my opinions as gospel. I would never put myself on a high standard because I'm nobody. And technically, nobody has to watch my videos. So those who actually take the time to watch it are helping me, not the other way around. Even though I am providing some form of help by passing on some knowledge that I know and trying to make it understandable for those people who don't understand the technical terms, I'm providing a service. I'm not gonna call out names of people who do this. I'm not gonna call out names of the people who got big headed and thought they were the, that they were the shit, they were the king of it all. But it's happening. And other people coming into this space are idolizing those people and following their methods and applying the same behavior. And that's completely wrong. Completely wrong to do. Restrictions are removed in Iowa. Nice. Some of the restrictions here are removed. Mask mandates have been taken out. So now it's up to the businesses. Lots of businesses here still require you to wear masks to go inside. I know Albertsons and Safeway, they don't require a mask for you to go inside there. Oh, Mark, I really appreciate it, man. Thank you so much. And thank you for following me this long. Yeah, so phones today, use what you like is my thing. You use what works for you. I used to be that idiot that would try and change people's opinions. And this was within my family. I stopped doing that. I know that my older sister, she was a Samsung fan for a long time. And then she finally decided to go to an iPhone. She had an iPad, so she knew how iOS functioned. She decided to get an iPhone 11. And then she's thoroughly happy with it. Did I see a comment about the music? Oh, no, I didn't. Sorry. I'm trying to go back. Happy Easter scammers, we missed that. Oh, how the music? Oh, okay, yeah. Oh, that's right. You popped in last night when I was ending it. All right, so I have this ghetto rig. Are you ready to find out the secret? Let me take it off solo because I have it on solo full screen. Oh, there it is. So what I did was on YouTube, there's non-copyright music, and using a YouTube to MP3 downloader, I copied the link to that, downloaded it in an MP4, so a video format, and then you know how on StreamYard you have the button that says share. When you click it, you can share a Chrome tab, or you can share a video file that's already on your hard drive. I chose that, and then I hit play and adjust the audio so it's at a level where you guys can hear it, but it's not overwhelming. And then I just turn on solo and it hides the video, so it's just me. I don't have the money to invest in all these different rigs and I forgot, I fell asleep last night, so I didn't install OBS on my Chromebook. But I figured that this would work for now. The idea to do it this way, I thought it up, but I'm sure someone else thought it up too. But the idea to have this type of music in the background actually came from me watching one of my favorite YouTubers, Chris Perillo. Because he streams on Twitch a lot. And he has like these weird ambient sounds in the back or whatever. So I figured this would be fun, conversate without any dead air, background music to kind of liven it up a little bit. You can do it. You would have to, so you would have to open Linux terminal on your Chromebook, and you would have to go through the terminal commands to install OBS. So I think it's like sudo space get space install, and then space OBS -studios, and you type that into the Linux terminal, and it will download it. The Street Fighter demo video, yeah. I appreciate it, Mark. Yes, I'll try my best to continue with. Mostly I'm doing live streams nowadays. I haven't really uploaded any videos to this channel anymore. I have a second channel that I uploaded videos to, but it's not something that I grind out really hard to. These live streams, I like doing them just to conversate. Oh, at the end of the show? Yeah. I still use it as my outro. I was just curious. I don't have a Chromebook, just a Next dock. Ah, got you. Yeah, get you a Chromebook, man. Samsung makes Chromebooks. When I got the Pixelbook Go, I almost bought the Samsung Chromebook. It was very sleek, really nice build to it. It was very good aluminum build to it. Nice color scheme they went with. They went with a red, like a red metallic color. Really nice touchscreen. Keyboards was just absolutely good on that Chromebook. But I am a Pixel fanboy, and of course the Pixelbook is no slouch. It's really good too itself, and so I just opted Pixelbook Go. They were roughly around. I think the Samsung one was $50 cheaper. So this Pixelbook Go was 649 with taxes and everything. It came out to like 708 bucks, and the Samsung was 599. Okay. I might get a Chromebook from the Verizon store today, bro. That'd be dope. You gonna show it on your live stream tonight if you do get it? By the way, everybody, just remember Latrell's going live today. So his Sunday chills. Don't forget about that. I think I get a Galaxy Chromebook if I were to get a Chromebook. I have a Samsung Chromebook Plus with LTE. It's a light silver color. That's nice, dude. You get and it has LTE support, so you can pop in like a data-only SIM card and just use your Chromebook wherever, bro. That's awesome. That's dope. I am jealous of you now, Gene, because my Pixelbook Go doesn't have LTE support. I have to carry a hotspot or use a hotspot on my phone to use this publicly, but I couldn't just grab my Pixelbook Go and go outside and leave my phones at home and just use the Pixelbook because it has to connect to some form of internet. having an LTE ready device is more convenient because you're not having to charge two things. You're not having to worry about, if you're using your mobile phone, you're not having to worry about your mobile phone's battery draining because you're using the hotspot. Hey, Jose, what's up, man? Welcome in. Yeah. Oh, yeah, true. You're right about that. The Wi-Fi network thing. Yeah. I'm trying to convince Samsung to drop my $200 gigabit upgrade fee. Okay, you have to elaborate me on that. I'm not too familiar with Samsung services. Why is there an upgrade fee? Yeah, right now I'm using the home Wi-Fi right now, and hopefully the stream is going good. Usually, I mean, because I've seen a couple of times the little antenna icon on StreamYard will tell me if the signal is getting weak, and then I kind of look around to see if there's anything that's obstructing to the router that's over there. Oh, Spectrum. Yeah, internet service hasn't really been the same. So I'm already told that if I hit over 1 terabyte on Cox Internet, they'll start charging me $10 per gig that I use unless I pay an additional $50 to have it unlimited. And it's like, oh man. Yeah, hotspot is just another thing to carry. It's funny because I have these little hotspot things like in my car, because like my car, I don't have a fancy car. Okay, I have a 2014 Dodge Avenger. Doesn't have all the bells and whistles, push start to start the car. You know, still uses a key to start the car with the ignition. But I have a little hotspot thing that's connected to one of my USB ports that constantly charges it, and I have it in the car for car Wi-Fi. I may be poor, but I'm gonna figure a way to make things work. So my car has active Wi-Fi, and like when people find out about it, they were like, "Yo, there's a Wi-Fi signal out here by the lake," and I'm like, "Yeah, it's my car." Like, "Oh my god, your car's got Wi-Fi?" And it's like, not necessarily. It's got one of these things plugged in. Yeah, I'm gonna completely change the color of my car though. I'm not liking the current color that it has. I'm probably gonna make my Dodge Avenger a matte black color because I don't want reflective lighting on it. You know, I don't want light to reflect off of it, so it'll hide in the dark very, very well. But that's when we get the Dodge Journey, because my lady wants a Dodge Journey. She's always wanted a Dodge Journey, you know, because I do have a big family, sort of. There's 6 of us total when we go out. It's my 4 kids, and it's me and my lady. That's 6 of us. You know what I mean? So we need a bigger vehicle. So she's gonna get a. I don't know if there was one that was a 2016 Dodge Journey that she saw, but she's gonna get one of those. So the Avenger, once she gets the Dodge Journey, whatever I want to do to the Avenger, I can do it. If I want to change the paint on it and make it matte black, you know, if I want to modify the motor, I can do that. The only stipulation that she has is not to like overhaul the engine and modify it to race, because she doesn't want me to race at all. And you know, I think I'm beyond that point. Like when I was younger, cars was my thing. You know, it's kind of sad because my dad got rid of the car that I worked on a lot. I had an ugly car. Let's see here. Comcast Infinity is horrible because of. Oh yeah, I hear that a lot. My dad and my mom's car also had the Apple CarPlay. Nice. I had data for a few things in my house: multiple phones, 2 tablets, laptop, and my Nest security system. So what I initially had, I was 21, I think. No, I was 23 when I bought the car. So at a dealership where I used to live at in Oklahoma, they had a 1994 Toyota Tercel, and I always liked the compact size of the car and the body style and everything, so I bought it, and I worked on that car for a long time. First, initially, it was a single overhead, right? So we weren't going to get much power out of that motor. But I was working on it little by little, replacing the intake system, and I built a short RAM system. Eventually, knowing that it's a single overhead, so it doesn't have that much power, I eventually found a 1995 Toyota Paseo at um at a junkyard and went to check out the motor. And the motor was fine. All right, Michael, take it easy, man. Enjoy Easter. Happy Easter. Be safe out there, bro. So, um, anyway, the junkyard had a 1995 Toyota Paseo, and so like the stock motor in a 1994 Toyota Tercel was a 3E. That is the model number of the motor. The single overhead doesn't produce much power. Maybe like tops like 120 horsepower, or maybe a little bit higher. Not by much. But the Paseo was a dual overhead, and it had a stock turbo. The motor is 5 EFTE, and so I knew the motor would fit in my Tercel, so I ended up buying the motor and doing a motor swap. So I put a 5 EFTE inside of my 94 Tercel, then I took off the stock turbo and went with an aftermarket turbo, and I actually went twin turbo on that one. Took me like 3 months to build it out. Yeah, because the actual first car that I had was an 85 Impala, but that was given to me by my dad, So my first car was an 85 Impala. Loved that car. It was a lowrider. Well, I worked on it and I made it into a lowrider. I didn't put a hydraulic system in it. It had air, so I didn't have the money to go hydraulics. But yeah, I had that, and then I bought a 94 Tercel out of my own pocket. And yeah, I worked on that car for a while. The thing about it was like in East Texas, like the racing scene was huge. And I did more work on the motor itself. I ended up replacing the strut towers and used the aftermarket springs on it. Ended up putting a roll cage inside of it. And yeah, God, I love that car. And my funnest things to do was to go racing. Of course, I was young, I was stupid, didn't have regard for people outside. You know what I mean? So the outside of the car, I didn't have it professionally painted. I painted it myself. So I first primed the car, right? So I sanded off because it was originally red and I wanted it matte black. So I primed the car after I sanded off the paint, ended up hitting it with primer, and I left it with primer for a while. It looked ugly as hell. And it was funny because out in the East Texas area, the cars that were popular that people had were Mustangs. Mustangs was like popular out there. That every time you went to a street racing event, there was at least maybe 15, 16 Mustangs out there. And this one guy wanted to race. Just a race. We didn't bet any money. We didn't bet pink slips or nothing like that. And I took the race. They were laughing because they were like, my rice burner was about to get the doors blown off of it, and talking all mad type of shit to me, not knowing what I did to the car. But anyways, when I did the motor swap, tuned it, and did everything that I wanted to do to it, I was basically pushing, I think, like 450 horsepower. So not a significant jump, but a jump enough, from like 120 or 100 and around there. I ended up taking on that guy, and this was when I had my car built out as a sleeper. So I didn't change out. Like, I did slightly work on the exhaust system. So what I did, which is kind of illegal, but I took off the catalytic converter and did a straight pipe from the headers, the flex pipe on the headers, all the way back to the muffler. Now the muffler, I did get an aftermarket, not an aftermarket one, but I did buy another one. But it wasn't to emphasize how loud the car was going to sound, so it didn't have the deep roars. It literally like made it sound almost near stock. So they didn't know. They just thought that I was just there to race it to have fun, and I call it a sleeper. So I raced the dude, keeping my pace with him, and about halfway down our quarter-mile track, I decided to just fucking pop it, and then blew it all the way to the finish line left his ass in the dust. So when we parked and we were hanging out, chilling, talking, drinking, he came up, he like, shook my hand. We were talking story about cars and stuff. And he asked if it was okay. Cause some guys are very finicky about showing what they have. So he was just like, yo, if you don't mind me seeing, let me see what you got. So I popped the hood, showed him, and he looked, he was like, holy and I was like, yeah, this ain't the stock motor on a Tercel. This is a 5 EFT twin turbo, And they were just checking out my system and everything like that. And I'm like, oh, okay, that makes sense. That makes sense. They're like, I seriously just thought I was going to leave you in the dust, because he was driving a Mustang. I'm like, yeah, no, I worked on this. My car. No longer have that car. So my lady knows that I do like to tinker with cars, but yeah, she just doesn't want me to race because of, I told her about two near fatal accidents I had, and also the run-in with the law where I escaped. Because like the cops had us blocked off. Like they found out we were street racing in McKinney, Texas. They found out the location. Cops were on hand. When we were there, we did I think it was 4 or 5 races, and then the cops just swarmed in from both sides and pretty much had us all trapped there. And they were giving, tickets for those who were racing. We had a single file line our cars and go through this police barricade, and we had to stop, talk to the officer, get our ticket, all that stuff, and go. If you didn't have insurance or if your license was suspended or whatever, they had tow trucks on hand to tow your car. And people that were standing there, they had officers on foot walking up to them, getting their information and giving them spectator tickets. And I didn't want a ticket, and I seen that on the sidewalk from a police barrier and the sidewalk, there was a gap wide enough for my little ass car, my 94 Tercel, to get on there, and the interstate on-ramp was just a block away. So when we were 4 cars away from where the officers were giving the racers their tickets or impounding the vehicles, I decided to pop on the curb and floor it around the barricade, coming off the other side, and then hitting a hard right and hitting the interstate ramp and just take off. And yeah, I did that. So those are my days when, you don't see too many lowriders on the road anymore. Here in Phoenix, we do. But again, the lowrider culture is mostly done by Latinos. And so there's a lot of lowriders here, in the Phoenix area. You'll see them, especially when they're out in their car clubs and they're just rolling around the city. They'll drive from Camelback Mountain all the way to South Mountain and then back. They'll do that. Bobby, my friend, has a Ring Video peephole camera. Yep. I had a lot of problems with my Comcast Xfinity, and one of my coworkers told me Spectrum is good in the Orlando area. Nice. Most car tinkering I did was put gas in the line. Cars is, if you ever do get interested in cars, man, it's I don't know. Because I've heard some people say it's intimidating to learn. It's not intimidating to learn. It's actually quite fun. It's quite fun to learn and get in there. Especially if you know somebody that knows their stuff about cars, then you can learn a lot. I had to learn about mechanics and stuff like that, because my dad, his thing was, he didn't want me or my siblings to depend on mechanics to fix our car all the time, because first of all, it's expensive, right? The labor charge alone for repairs on your vehicle is pretty high, and then on top of that, he didn't want us to get taken by a mechanic who's crooked. Oh, you did? So the basic mechanics of a motor and stuff like that. You know the 3 components that make an engine go, right? Gas, electric, and air. The air that comes in, that mixes with the gas, the cylinder compresses it, the spark plug sparks, which creates combustion. Yeah. Little things, little by little, I had to learn on my own just by messing with my car, putting an aftermarket tachometer in, having to figure that out. Went through trial and error. Well, just think about it like this: forced induction, so turbo or supercharger, obviously will increase horsepower. cold air intake. So one thing I know about that is like, so the air that goes in, right? That goes in, outside air or whatever at a certain temperature. If you can drop that temperature by, I think it's like for every 10 degrees you can drop it, increases 1 additional horsepower. So that's why some people, when they build out their motors and stuff, especially importers, they like to go with cold air intake, just because it increases that whatever little bit of advantage that you can get to increase power and performance. Because you can't just solely focus on the motor and just build power, right? You can build all the power into a motor you want. And if you don't modify the body and the frame of the car to withstand and to harness that power, it's not going to do you any good. So you got to balance your vehicle. It has to be balanced. Most vehicles today are computerized, so you can always do that type of stuff using a computer. But my dad taught me how to do it on mechanical engines that are not computerized. So I can do it both ways. Yeah. I think the funniest car I've seen was an old Datsun that had an RB26 DETT. For those that don't know, that's the motor that's in a Nissan Skyline R34 GTR. That's the motor that's in it. It's an inline 6-cylinder. And that motor is powerful. So my friend was lucky enough to have one, but he didn't do nothing to his car. So he took it out one time and decided to open that sucker up on the interstate. And yeah, it flew, but the body couldn't handle. Didn't do anything with the tires, so he lost grip. He nearly spun out on the interstate. He learned a lesson. You can't just work on the motor, you gotta work on all aspects of the car. So that's why I'm excited for Carlos to do his car video channel, because I do have an interest in cars. I may not go and build out a car to race or for high peak performance or anything like that, but I do enjoy watching them now. I mean, one of my favorite anime cartoons is Initial D. I watched all series, stage 1 all the way to stage 4. Oh, stage 5. Stage 5 was the last one, and thoroughly enjoyed watching that anime. Yeah. So now, well, how are you guys looking at the new viewpoint? I mean, you guys finally get to see my Death Note painting. Well, go this way. There it is. All right. That is my inspiration. That is my inspiration right there. The character L, the way that he thinks, stuff like that, inspires me. If you never watched the Death Note series, I know it's anime, it's cartoon, but actually watch, it's pretty good. The storytelling is really good in that. Don't watch the Netflix one. They totally just killed it. Yeah, I'm gonna come through on your stream tonight, bro. Of course I am. We'll pop in, be in the chat. Unless you want me on as a guest, send me an invite link, because I'm not going anywhere today. My lady's at work. I miss her a lot right now. She has to work Easter. She doesn't get off until 9:30 tonight. So she won't be home until about 10. I am here in a little bit going to jump off because I'm going to have lunch with my kids, and later on, I'm going to say later on tonight before their bedtime, I'm going to watch a movie with them, but that will be after you live stream. I mean, you don't have to, bro. I'm perfectly fine being in chat and just engaging through chat, man. So I don't want you to feel like that you have to open it up for guests and let me on. No, I'm perfectly fine being in there. Thanks for being a great dad. I won't say I'm a great dad. I try my best. I try my best, and I try to do what I can. And I just want my kids to grow up with a lot of wisdom that they can learn from me, and for them to do 1 million times better than me. I don't want them to struggle in life the way that I did. And so I want them to be very successful at what they do, and I want them to know they can do anything they want to do, and I will have their back no matter what. And I will be there for them for advice. And when they're adults, they will understand that I'll give advice, but it doesn't mean that they have to listen to it. But no matter what they do, they're not standing alone. As long as I'm breathing and still on this earth, they're never standing alone. Their dad has always got their back. I try my best, but I will never say that I'm a great dad, because I mean, I always feel like that there's a lot more that I can do better for them. So I strive to do that. But anyways, I do want to thank everybody for hanging out with me. It was really cool. Happy Easter again. Hopefully you guys are enjoying your Easter Sunday. And yeah, you guys aren't alone either. I stand by you guys too. So I just want to say I love you guys very much. Be cool out there. Tune in to Latrell's live stream tonight. Don't miss it. And I'll see you guys in the chat there. So until next time, y'all take it easy. Happy Easter.